Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself wondering about the global market for something that seems, well, incredibly specific, like gun safes?
It does sound niche, doesn't it?
Right, but what if I told you it's actually a market generating billions, and maybe more importantly, it's showing some uh, truly surprising and dynamic growth trends all across the globe?
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're not just scratching the surface. We're taking an in-depth exploration into the Global Gun Safes Market Report 2025, Growth and Forecasts.
Right.
Our mission really is to distill the most important nuggets of knowledge from this pretty detailed report, giving you a comprehensive shortcut, to understanding a corner of the global economy that's quietly expanding.
And what's fascinating here, I think, is that we're going beyond just the raw numbers. We're looking at what these figures truly tell us about, say, global consumer trends, regional differences.
Exactly, disparities.
Yeah, disparities and the underlying pace, the speed at which this market is evolving. Our goal is really to connect the dots, see where the significant momentum lies.
And maybe hint at what's driving it all.
Precisely. What factors might be driving these diverse growth paths?
Okay, let's start with the absolute biggest picture then, the global numbers. This market was already pretty substantial, 2,072.03 million in 2021.
Over 2 billion. Okay.
And it's not just holding steady. It's projected to grow to $2,456.5 million by 2025.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the really interesting part. It's forecasted to hit an impressive 3,452.68 million by 2033.
Wow. So pretty significant jump projected out.
Yeah, that translates to a compound annual growth rate, or CGR, of 4.347% over this whole period.
Okay, so a key takeaway from this initial global view as well, we're dealing with a market that shows consistent, sustained growth. It's not a flash in the pan, like you said.
Right, steady upward trajectory.
But as you hinted, the global average kind of masks a much more dynamic story underneath, doesn't it?
Cody.
The real insights start to pop out when we dig into how these trends play out region by region, country by country. That's where we see where the most significant opportunities are really taking shape.
Absolutely. So we're going to journey across the globe now, region by region, comparing, contrasting, and I promise you there are some truly eye-opening developments waiting.
Yeah.
We'll start our global tour in North America, then pivot to Europe, Asia Pacific, South America, the Middle East, and finally Africa, which holds our biggest surprise.
Looking forward to that. So North America first.
First stop, North America,
Yeah.
a continent that often sets the tone for many global markets. In 2021, the market here for gun safes was valued at a significant $824.67 million.
Right, a big chunk of the global total.
Definitely. And it's projected to climb to $1,325.48 million by 2033, with an annual growth rate, the TAGR, of 3.917%.
Okay, nearly 4%. Steady.
Now, when we drill down into the countries within North America,
Mm-hmm.
you might expect the United States to dominate, right? And it does, in sheer volume.
Mm.
It's projected to reach over $1 billion by 2033, growing at a steady 3.7% annually. But here's where the nuances appear.
Oh, okay.
While the U.S. market is vast, its neighbors, Canada and Mexico, are actually showing faster relative growth.
Faster growth rate, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Canada, for instance, is leading North America with a pretty robust 4.8% annual growth rate. It's set to nearly double its 2021 value by 2033.
Wow, 4.8%, that's noticeably higher than the U.S. figure.
Right, and Mexico isn't far behind either, also showing strong expansion at about 4.4% CGR.
This is quite telling. So while the sheer volume in the U.S. is immense, Canada's faster growth, and Mexico's strong trajectory, it hints at, well, distinct market forces, maybe?
Seems like it.
For Canada, this could be a reflection of, I don't know, new or updated regulations around secure firearm storage, perhaps?
Could be.
Or maybe a rising interest among, say, new firearm owners in responsible, secure ownership, driving those initial purchases.
Right, first-time buyers versus upgrades.
Exactly. Whereas the U.S., being a more mature market, a very large existing base, might see growth driven more by, like you said, replacement or upgrade cycles, owners investing in newer, maybe more advanced safes.
Yeah, different drivers.
It really speaks to different market dynamics across what seems like a unified region.
That's a great distinction. Okay, so from the varied dynamics across North America, our journey now takes us eastward across the Atlantic to the diverse markets of Europe.
Okay, Europe.
Overall, Europe's gun safe market was valued at $596.746 million in 2021. That's projected to reach 966.406 million by 2033, with an average CER of 4.03%,
Yeah.
slightly higher than North America's average.
Okay, interesting. Still in that 4% range.
Yeah. But what's particularly interesting within Europe is the contrast in growth rates between countries.
Ah, okay, so more variation.
Definitely. While established economies like the UK and Germany are seeing steady but somewhat slower growth, around 3.1% and 3.3% respectively.
Slower than the European average.
Right, it's France that actually demonstrates the strongest European acceleration. It's forecasted to grow at an impressive 5.472% CAGR.
Over 5.4%. Wow, that's significant for a major European economy.
Isn't it? Reaching almost $110 million by 2033. And maybe even more surprisingly, the rest of Europe segment.
The catch-all category.
Yeah, the one that bundles many smaller countries. It's also showing significant momentum, growing at a very similar 5.401% CAGR.
That is surprising. So France and this rest of Europe group are really pulling up the average.
They really are. Other key countries like Italy and Russia also contribute with solid growth rates, both above 3.4%. But then you have smaller markets like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, Luxembourg. They reported lower growth rates, generally sort of between 1.4% and 2.6%.
Okay, so quite a spread there. But France's lead and that strong performance of the rest of Europe, it does raise an important question, doesn't it? What's driving that?
Exactly. What's going on there?
This accelerated growth, significantly outpacing some of Europe's largest economies. It could be a mix of things, maybe recent government initiatives, legislative changes in France making secure storage more compulsory.
Could be policy-driven?
Or maybe even a shift in cultural attitudes towards, heightened household safety. We've seen similar things in other European countries where changes in, say, hunting regulations or increased public awareness campaigns about security can rapidly stimulate demand for these products.
Right.
And the rest of Europe performance suggests these maybe localized surges aren't isolated incidents. Something broader might be happening in certain parts of the continent.
Fascinating. Okay, from Europe, let's turn our attention now to the east, to the vast and rapidly developing Asia-Pacific region.
Okay, APAC. This is often where we see big growth numbers.
And you won't be disappointed. Here's where the growth truly starts to accelerate. This market, which was $389.542 million in 2021, is projected to hit $701.24 million by 2033.
So almost doubling.
Yeah, boasting an impressive overall 5.276% CAGR, much higher than North America or Europe's average.
Right, over 5%. That's strong.
And what truly stands out here are the exceptionally high growth rates in specific countries. India, for example, experiencing really strong growth, rising from about $56 million in 2021 to over $113 million by 2033. That's a phenomenal 6.346% CAGR.
Over 6.3% for India. Wow.
But wait, it gets better. Even that is topped by Singapore, forecasted to grow at the highest APAC CAGR of 6.71%.
Singapore. Interesting. Not a huge market in absolute terms, maybe, but that growth rate is massive, reaching nearly $30 million by 2033.
Exactly. And Southeast Asia collectively isn't far behind either, set to grow to 6.565% CAGR.
Okay, so India, Singapore, Southeast Asia, all growing above 6%.
Right. Now, China, predictably, leads in overall market size. It's approaching $200 million by 2033, still growing at a solid 4.879% CAGR.
Still strong, almost 5%.
Yeah. And Japan and South Korea also contribute significantly to the region's expansion, with KGRs of around 4.8% and 4.3% respectively. But it's really the speed of growth in places like India and Singapore that just, catches the eye.
Absolutely. And if we connect this to the broader picture of global economics, well, these significantly higher growth rates in countries like India, Singapore, across Southeast Asia, it strongly suggests that emerging economies are becoming major drivers of this market's expansion.
Makes sense.
This surge is likely fueled by several factors. We're seeing a burgeoning middle class in many of these regions, right? Increasing disposable income.
More assets to protect.
Exactly. And a growing interest in acquiring valuable assets that require secure storage. Plus, you might have evolving local regulations or maybe just a heightened awareness around safety and secure ownership, creating this fresh wave of demand that perhaps wasn't as prevalent before.
Yeah.
For businesses tracking global consumer trends, these regions clearly represent significant, maybe often untapped opportunities.
That's a powerful connection. Okay, following our journey south, let's explore South America.
South America, another region with potential.
Seems so. This continent also shows pretty robust and widespread growth, moving from $138.826 million in 2021 to $255.844 million by 2033. That's a strong overall CGR of 5.435%.
Okay, over 5.4%. So similar to APAC's overall rate.
Very similar, Brazil, as the largest economy in the region, naturally leads in market size, expanding from about $45 million to nearly $80 million by 2033. That's at a very healthy 5.029% CAGR.
Solid growth for the leader.
Yep. But what's really compelling is the rapid pace seen elsewhere. Both Argentina and Colombia are growing at over 6% CAGR.
Over 6%. Okay, so strong growth beyond Brazil, too.
Absolutely. And the rest of the South America segment is also expected to nearly double, reaching over $100 million by 2033, and an impressive 5.715% CAGR.
Oh.
It's clear that this continent is experiencing strong, widespread expansion across multiple nations, not just one or two hotspots.
Yeah, what's particularly noteworthy here is that consistency. The robust growth observed right across South America. It makes you wonder what commonalities might be driving this regional growth.
Right, what ties them together.
Is it, similar socioeconomic trends emerging simultaneously across these diverse nations? Perhaps an increasing formalization of property ownership? Or maybe a synchronized increase in demand for secure storage solutions as economies mature and consumer purchasing power expands?
Could be any or all of those.
The data definitely suggests a confluence of factors creating a broad-based regional uplift rather than just isolated pockets of growth.
Good point. Okay, now let's shift our focus to the Middle East.
Right.
This region presents quite a different picture compared to the high-growth areas we just discussed. The market here was $80.809 million in 2021, projected to reach $110.141 million by 2033.
Okay, smaller base than South America.
Yes, and growing at a relatively modest 2.157% CAGR.
Oh, quite a bit lower, just over 2%.
Yeah. Key markets within the Middle East, places like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, UAE, Egypt, Qatar, they all show slower growth, generally ranging between 1.6% and 3.2% CAGR.
Okay.
So this slower pace offers quite a contrast to the surging numbers we've seen elsewhere, particularly in, say, APAC or South America. It really highlights how market dynamics can differ significantly based on local factors.
It really does. This region's comparatively modest growth rate. I mean, especially when you stack it against the, explosive expansion in Asia Pacific or South America. It encourages us to think about the potential underlying factors, doesn't it?
For sure.
It highlights that market dynamics are, profoundly localized, influenced by a unique blend of economic, cultural, perhaps regulatory considerations. It suggests a more stable or maybe less dynamic demand environment.
Different patterns.
Could be different patterns of ownership, varying regulatory frameworks, maybe cultural norms regarding secure storage are different. It's not a lack of market necessarily, but just a different pace and nature of growth compared to those other emerging regions.
Right. A different story unfolding there. Okay, and finally, here's where it truly gets eye-opening. We saved Africa for last.
The grand finale.
Kind of. The numbers here demonstrate the strongest momentum globally. The market in Africa is soaring, albeit from a smaller base. It was $41.441 million in 2021.
Okay, the smallest starting point.
Yes, but projected to hit $93.568 million by 2033, achieving an astonishing CGR of 7.599%.
Whoa, over 7.5%. That's huge.
Isn't it? Easily the highest global CGR we've seen.
By far.
And this growth is quite widespread, too. Both Nigeria and South Africa are growing at over 7.2% CAGR.
Okay, major economies there showing very strong growth.
But the rest of Africa segment is truly remarkable. It's expected to more than double, actually, rising from about $18.4 million in 2021 to $43.095 million by 2033. That's at an impressive 8.009% CAGR.
Over 8% for the rest of Africa. That's incredible momentum.
It really is. This isn't just gross. It feels more like an explosion in demand starting from that lower base.
No kidding. This rapid expansion across Africa, and particularly that rest of Africa segment more than doubling with an 8% CAGR, it's incredibly significant. It underscores a burgeoning market with immense, perhaps often underestimated potential.
Definitely seems underestimated based on these numbers.
And this could be tied to several significant shifts. We might be seeing, again, that burgeoning middle class across parts of the continent acquiring new assets, prioritizing enhanced security.
Right. Similar drivers as APAC, perhaps, but maybe even more pronounced.
Possibly. Or it could also reflect an increased formalization of, say, firearm ownership in some regions, creating a fresh demand for compliant storage solutions that simply wasn't present at this scale before.
New regulations driving first-time buys.
Could be. While it starts from a smaller absolute base, this kind of momentum signals a powerful wave of emerging demand that is fundamentally reshaping this market's global landscape.
Hmm,
For anyone tracking emerging markets, Africa's trajectory here is a profound signal.
absolutely. So let's try and wrap this up. What does this all mean for you, our listener, whether you're interested in global market trends or maybe just curious about these niche industries?
Yeah, bringing it all together.
We've seen that the gun safes market, while specific, is on a really interesting and, frankly, diverse global growth path. While established regions like North America and Europe show steady, stable demand, often driven by, mature market dynamics.
Replacements,
It's,
upgrades.
exactly. It's the emerging markets, particularly in Asia Pacific, South America, and most notably Africa, that are truly leading the charge with significantly higher, sometimes dramatically higher, growth rates.
And this raises an important question, or rather, highlights a fascinating dynamic. You've got mature markets maintaining stability versus these emerging markets presenting substantial expansion opportunities.
A real contrast.
It's like a snapshot of global consumer trends in safety and secure storage, reflecting diverse priorities, evolving regulatory landscapes, shifting economic power, all playing out across different parts of the world.
Right.
Understanding these underlying drivers helps us move beyond just the numbers to the actual human and societal factors at play.
So, thinking about all that, what truly stands out to you, listening in, about these numbers and trends? Perhaps it is that rapid, almost explosive growth in Africa.
Or maybe the variation within Europe?
Yeah, or the varying pace across Europe and how that might reflect different cultural or regulatory environments. This deep dive really paints a picture of a global market driven by a multitude of interconnected factors.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Consider this. As these trends continue to unfold, what factors might be most influential in sustaining that rapid growth in emerging markets?
Good question. What keeps it going?
Or conversely, what could constrain the more mature ones? Is it going to be continuous innovation in safe technology, further shifts in global security perceptions, or perhaps changing trade policies that will reshape these regional markets in the years to come?
Lots to think about.
The answers to those questions will be critical for anyone looking to understand the future of secure storage globally.
Powerful questions to ponder indeed. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the global gun safes market.
Thanks for listening.
Keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll catch you next time.